I just want you to give our listeners and viewers an update. We're hearing a lot of rumblings about a catastrophic Chinese economy coming down the pike, that real estate's failing, that they're printing they're printing money they don't have, worse than we are. They're trying to replace the petrodollar. The economic crisis in China, Roy, right now, how deep is it, and how will it affect us, Roy?
Well, it's a very serious situation. In China right now, over 200 million young people are unemployed, which is a big factor for instability, which requires Xi and the CCP, kleptocrats to control more of the population. And if you look at Hong Kong Hang Seng Index dropped 20%. And just yesterday I saw Evergrande just be relisted, and then it dropped over, I think, 85%. Last episode we talked about County Garden, Evergrande, how the white gloves have been stolen money from the Chinese people and American people, and the white gloves help launder the money and left the debt inside China. And that's why Miles, the founder of New Federal State of China, warned us 6 years ago it's gonna be worse. We're headed for a kaboom, right? And most important, all the data we see online or on TV, they're fake. CCP is faking its economy. It's even faking its population. CCP controlled China doesn't have 1.4 billion people right now. It's the real number is around 800 million, right? So now we see there's a huge deflation coming, and the consumers just don't trust the government, and the investors, the foreign investors, they don't trust the government. They're leaving, right? And CCP now is in the situation of we call it Tacitus trap, where a brutal regime is hated, no matter what it does, and whether it is right or wrong, right? And last time we also talked about the U.S. still it still invested $7 trillion in the CCP, and the economies continue to get worse, and the tension between U.S. and China and China and Taiwan get worse. The CCP would not and could not return the money. That's how it could trigger a huge collapse for the world.
So let's just get to the bottom of this, right? Let's talk about the so-called population crisis going on in China right now because of the one-child policy that went on for some time. You've got now an aging population in China. You don't have enough young people. Roy, how real is that situation, and what does it mean long term?
Well, CCP is a brutal regime that's have this extreme control over its population, and the elites and the middle class is disappearing in China, right? The middle class is disappearing, and the elites, they're going abroad and never come back, and with money, with investments. And also, you talk about the brutal, unimaginable one-child policy where 400 million babies were killed after this policy is adopted, right? So now we have this conversation dialogue about if a woman should be aborting her own baby or whatever, but at the meantime it's happening all the time in China. 400 million babies are killed by this brutal regime. So that's why we say CCP can never represent Chinese people's interests, could never represent the human right of Chinese people. It's the enemy of Chinese people. And now they're faking their economy. They fake the Shanghai stock market. They faked also the Hong Kong Hang Seng Index. After 2019, we saw 2 million people on streets. They don't agree with the policies with CCP, and CCP just sent troops inside Hong Kong and take it over, and then everything is fake, right? So now we see the population it's gone, right? It only has less than 800 million people. This is not from us. This is not just from our intelligence. CCP's official data, you can check it out yourselves. One time it says there's certain data and there's a percentage, and if you calculate yourself, it's not 1.4 billion. So everything is fake, John.
Okay, well, if everything is fake, and there's certainly evidence supporting everything that you're saying, but eventually numbers have to start adding up, or people starve, right? I mean, eventually, if you can't get food, you can't fake that. So, what is the long-term plan here economically for the CCP in China?
Well, that's a very good question, John. So remember 10 years ago, after she met with the former President Obama, he didn't like it, and then he went straight back to Putin and like sit together and drinking vodka, discussing about how to take over the world and how to counter the West. That time, like he knew that the economy in China is fake, it's gonna go kaboom, like it's gonna collapse, but he's ready for it. He's ready for the like sanction from the West when he confiscate all the $7 trillion investment from the West, and he's ready for the disasters coming, like with the vaccine injuries, with the financial crisis in the United States and around the globe, and that's the perfect opportunity for him to take over Taiwan and control Asia and control the world. And he has a comprehensive plan as well for infiltrating the United States and also the internationalization of RMB. So that's what the whole BRICS summit is about, right? So they have a comprehensive and plan, a detailed plan planned and to be carried out throughout the decades. So that's pretty scary because they have this in mind that one day, she has this in mind that one day, like United States and CCP will become enemy, and he's been preparing it for over a decade.